you'd performed some shows in the past as your previous band, and you've performed as the Deathwells. When was the last time that you performed on stage as the Deathwells?
Wow, the last time I performed on stage, this would have to be, I'd say June of 2003, August 2013.
So it's been a while then.
It's been a long time.
So kind of what's led to the hibernation of the Deathwells? Like what why is the Deathwells?
I started just work started, and one thing, like I started working a lot more.
Well, you kind of become like a journeyman.
Yeah,
where you're like
on the road a lot,
yeah.
so that stopped that.
You were with the railroad, gaining life experience.
I kind of had to do it for my kids' stuff. I had to do that, and it helped me a lot being on the road and going to all these different cities and stuff and learning all these things. And I came back, and now I'm ready to just, like, I don't know. I feel my mind's not been this clear in a long time.
What's been the most? You said you traveled to a lot of cities. Did you find different inspiration in different cities?
Yeah, like New Orleans was cool.
What made that stand out?
It's just because it was New Orleans. Like I think it was just the myth of that city. And New Orleans is one of those places that looks exactly like it should, like on a postcard.
You would imagine.
Like the way you would imagine it to look. Yeah,
I've never been there. Have you been there, Sarah?
You go to St. Louis.
No, I've never been
You go to
New
St.
Orleans.
Louis and you have this idea of what St. Louis will look like, and it doesn't look like St. Louis.
Right.
But when you go to New Orleans, it looks like.
So that was the place that inspired you the most, you would say?
I would say that, or.
You're mainly on the east, right? The East Coast.
Yeah, I worked all along the East Coast, like near.
You were in Baltimore, right?
Finley, no, it was near Detroit, Finley, Ohio, where actually Ben Roethlisberger graduated in Toledo.
Okay.
I think it was Finley, Ohio. Finley High School was where he graduated high school. Ben Roethlisberger from the Steelers.
Yeah.
I worked there a lot for like 6 months. And then I went from there to Jackson, Tennessee, and around like Jackson, Memphis area, and then to a couple places in Mississippi. Then back up into like Stanton, Virginia, Middle Virginia. Then from there down to Baton Rouge, New Orleans. And then I got done doing all that, and then I came home, and then just sort of here I am. You're to go again, man. It just kind of happened. Everything just kind of fell into place.
So you're picking back up the Deathwells.
Yeah, picking it back up.
Now, would you say you're picking back up the Deathwells where they left off, or is this a whole new chapter? Because you said before you had Joe.
Yeah,
now you have Anthony
Joe
Wayne
Collier
as is
Anthony
Wayne?
Anthony's going to bring a completely different level to the Deathwells, and it's going to be good.
So is Anthony Wayne?
It's a different chapter for sure.
Is he an official member of the Deathwells, or just?
Yeah. He is the drummer of the Deathwells.
So on the EP, it won't be like guest starring Anthony Wayne.
No, it'll be
Wayne.
the Deathwells guitar player, guitar vocals, Seth, Barnett, and drums.
Anthony Wayne.
Yeah, he's official. He's in the band.
Okay, you have any questions or anything you want to ask Sarah?
I don't think so.
Okay. We're going to take a break right now,
Sarah,
but when we come back...
Okay.
Yeah, I hope the toe's going to be okay also.
Yeah, it'll be alright.
So, yeah, definitely. Toe or tongue, either way.
Yeah, my phone's about to die over here.
So, yeah, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with a couple more questions for Seth, and then we'll get into a couple of songs on the Other People Show. Thanks for tuning in. And we are back with the Other People Show. Such a short break, it seemed, just like blink of an eye. And yes, my finger is still broken, her toe is still hurt,
and
Seth's phone is still dying right on the Other People Show.
Let's check the phone.
Before we get into a couple songs,
Let me get my phone plugged up before we get into some songs.
Okay, now you said that it was back in 2012 or 13 was the last time that you performed, and that you performed a couple of times on the old radio show. And Purgatory Blues, one of the standouts I remember, and you're going to perform that later on tonight.
Yeah, I do.
So, what direction do you see the Deathwells heading into the future? You said you've got the EP coming out by spring.
I'd say less chaotic, but also at the same time it will still have its chaotic appeal to it. That like a true, like someone that really liked the rawness of the Deathwells. The rawness will still be there, but it will be with more
Focus and direction.
Exactly, focus and direction. Exactly. That's
What
the
do you-
best. That's the best I've heard it said. Is more focus and direction.
Well, it seems like with the travels you've had, some of the things you've told me off camera.
Yeah, it won't be so all over the place.
Right, you wanna
And-
have it
and
narrowed
that,
down.
And that has half to do with me and where my mind's at.
And where you are in the stage in your life.
Right.
You know, you're what, 28 years old now?
Yeah.
So, you know,
So,
28 years old, and you've come to, you know, things you've learned now that you didn't learn, you know, that you didn't know a couple years ago. So you're incorporating that into the Deathwells sound as well. Will the Deathwells
Yeah.
sound change at all from what people that know of you from the past? Because you've got that blue, bluesy.
It will. I think I'll go, and I won't be so afraid to have softer songs. Even like not. I don't know if you want to. I guess you can call it softer. I don't know. I'm not going to be afraid. I'm not going to limit myself to. I've got to be this one way rock and roll all the time. I'm going to just. I'm going to let it be what it is. And if I feel like writing a song on piano that day, or I feel like writing a song on a harp that day, I'm just going to write it and let it be what it is, and let the Deathwells be what they are. And that's what's so beautiful about the Deathwells. And I was telling Anthony earlier is that they can be whatever they want to be. The Deathwells can be whatever we want it to be, whenever we want it to be, whenever we need it to be.
We're going to let the art create itself
Exactly.
instead
We're gonna
of trying to
let
mold
the
it into
Deathwells
something.
be. Exactly.
I understand.
We're going to let it mold us.
So we're going to take a quick break. You're going to get ready, prepare, play a couple songs for us,
Yeah.
and we'll be back right after these messages on the Other People Show.